Hey, it's Jared with Hill Media Group. I recently analyzed 15 different auto repair websites for businesses located in the Flathead Valley, like Kalispell, Whitefish, Polson, Big Fork. And there are some unique things that I figured out. I decided to do this because I wanted to see what the local businesses were doing or perhaps weren't doing as far as marketing their businesses in the area. What helps the businesses that are ranked higher in Google Maps, maybe even starting to show up in some of these AI features within Google versus the others that are showing up lower now? And have there been any major changes? You see, Flathead Valley is a unique and interesting place because most businesses here serve two different types of audiences. First of all, there are the locals, the people who live here, who are here year round. And those that are locals are going to put off some forms of maintenance and other things until other months when things slow down, because during the summer months, we get really busy because of all of the tourism that comes in for Glacier National Park. So there's two different people that you have to market to. Some of the people who live here and might not be aware of your business. And then you have people who are coming in who might just be searching for auto repair shop near me because maybe they had a problem with their vehicle that they traveled here in. There are some unique challenges, though, in the fact that not only do we have that population boom during the summer, but there are a lot of people who have migrated here over the last several years, and they don't have a shop that they go to, an established business that they work with, and not just with auto repair, but also with a lot of the businesses that we don't frequent, but we tend to visit from time to time, whether that's for an oil change or for something major that goes wrong with our vehicle. So there are people who have moved here as well who are trying to establish relationships with local businesses as they find the needs. So in this video, I'm going to break down my findings. And the number one finding is that Google business profiles have never been more important than they are now. The Google business profile is what shows up when somebody searches for a service in a location. And then Google shows you a result, typically a few links with a map. And of course, you could expand that out and see more businesses. And then down below the maps listing is all of the organic links. Of course, above the maps, if there are any, are sponsored listings, people who are paying for ads to show up in Google. But as Google continues to build out its AI tools, it's becoming more and more important to feed AI specific information that can be verified, and the Google business profile is a great option for that. Of the 15 businesses that I looked at, only 9 of them actually had claimed Google business profiles. That means there were a handful of them that maybe don't even pay attention to their Google business profile because they haven't even claimed it. You have to claim your Google business profile in order to update and add information to it. Now, over time, a business would just end up getting a Google business listing because Google brings in additional information that might have come from phone company records or a variety of other things, and it generated a Google business listing. But that doesn't mean that the actual business has connected with that yet. To claim a Google business listing, you just go to business.google.com, log in, and then type in your business information, and there might be a few verifications that are needed in order to claim your business listing. After you do that, it's very important that you fill out all of the fields and as much information as you can in that Google business profile. You want to make sure that your hours, your services offered, your service areas, so maybe you reach outside of the area of your specific location where your address is in the Flathead Valley. That's important because while we do have a bigger town like Kalispell, there are a lot of small towns and communities outside of there. You want to make sure to list those. You want to add photos that show unique aspects of your business and make sure that you fill out the business description as well. Some of these businesses had that. Of the 9 that had claimed their Google business profiles, not all of them had all of these fields filled out. You also need consistent name, address, phone number information across the board. Google will verify your information and make sure that it is correct because they have Google Maps and all of that data to work with. It's important that the address and phone number that's listed on your website, also even the way that your business name is displayed, is consistent in your Google business listing, on your website, and anywhere else that you might find it on the web. I know this might sound basic, but that information is still very important, and Google, when trying to present the best results for the person searching, is going to present the businesses that have the best verified information. It's also important to engage with your Google business profile on a regular basis. That might look like adding new information, photos, making any relevant changes changes maybe once or twice a month or more often if you have things that change frequently. Here's a quick win. Go into your Google Business profile. If you have it claimed already, great. If you don't, claim it. And make sure all of the available fields are filled out, especially if you have a menu of services. Make sure that all of those services are listed within your Google Business profile. Finding number 2, reviews matter, but not how you think. One of the main things that surprised me about the reviews is that the average review count for the top 3 in the map pack section had an average of 184 reviews. But the breakdown was interesting. The number 1 ranked shop had over 300, while the position 3 ranked in the maps pack only had 60. And that tells me something important. It's not about quantity, it's about quality of reviews. What I noticed among the top performers is that their review velocity was pretty high. They were getting lots of relevant, recent reviews, not just a bunch that were from 3 or more years ago. Google wants to see that you're consistently delivering good service, not that you just had a good run back in 2020. The top performers also responded to their reviews. Whether they were 5-star or 1-star reviews, every review got a reply. That means when you get a review notification in your email that you go and visit that review and respond to it, and don't just simply say thanks for the review. Give a little bit of a detailed response. It's really easy to do that these days because you could take their original review, you could throw it into ChatGPT and ask it to generate a short 1 to 2 sentence response. And then that way you don't have to come up with something unique. You just rely on AI to do it for you. But taking the time to respond and posting that is what's important. Based on my research, it matters big time being in the top 3 within Google Maps. The top 3 Google search results capture about 68% of all clicks, with the number 1 position alone often getting over 30% of that. If you're ranking at number 5 or even lower, you're getting single-digit percentages or less of that click share. For auto repair specifically, it's really important to rank well because people have a need when they go to Google search for auto repair. They probably have something that needs to be fixed really fast because the situation is urgent. Case studies show that auto repair shops moving from mid-page rankings to the top spot have seen inbound call volume increase anywhere from 3 to 7%. Given that the average customer lifetime value for an auto repair shop is between $5,000 and $7,000, every ranking position you climb is worth tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands in additional revenue. Finding number 3 is that the geographic coverage gap is costing you customers. This is one of the most interesting things I found, especially for my area in the Flathead Valley. Top performers weren't just ranking well in their own town, they were dominating neighboring towns as well. Here's what's happening right now in Flathead County. Businesses in Kalispell are outranking businesses in Big Fork for auto repair. And Whitefish shops are showing up ahead of Columbia Falls. Why? Because top performers have location-specific service pages, and most other businesses don't. Only 15% of the websites that I analyzed had created pages on their website to target specific locations outside of their general service area. Let me be clear what I mean about location-specific pages, because there's a right way and a wrong way to do this. The wrong way, which is an outdated SEO tactic, is to create a page like Big Fork Auto Repair and then stuff that page with a bunch of general information that you probably grabbed off of Wikipedia about Big Fork. Google can see through this immediately now, and it's not working like it used to, especially in bigger cities. The right way to do this is to create service area pages that genuinely answer the question, why should someone in town name choose our shop for their auto repair needs? This means including specific information about serving that area, travel time or distance from your location, any area-specific services or considerations, clear call to actions for scheduling, testimonials from customers in that area, hopefully you have some, and your service area coverage hours and response time for that specific location. The difference between a service area and a location page is important. You're not pretending to have a physical location in Big Fork. You're clearly stating we serve Big Fork customers, and here's what it looks like working with us. This matters especially during tourist season when someone from out of state with an out-of-state search history breaks down in Big Fork and wants an auto repair facility. Finding number 4, visual content builds trust, and most shops are missing this. Top performing shops had one thing in common that the lower performing were missing. And this ranged from a video in the hero section of the homepage of their website that showed the shop and team, photos of the waiting area, your service bays and equipment, team photos that include staff members, before and after project photos, and video clips showing your work in the facility. This matters because it dramatically affects the bounce rate on your website. If somebody goes and visits your website, they don't like what they see, they hit the back button, and Google gets a signal. Google sent somebody to your website, you hit the back button. Google also gets notified because, hey, this person's back, same IP address, same computer, and somebody only spent 10 seconds on that website. So obviously that website was not a good fit. When someone visits your website and immediately sees your facility, your team, your work, they're going to stick around longer, and that's going to extend the amount of time that they're on your website. The top performers in the Google Maps section also added photos like this to their Google business listing. Finding number 5, social media isn't what you think, but it still does matter. Let's be completely honest. None of us are going on Instagram or Facebook to check out what our local auto repair shop is doing. But here's what I did notice. Top performers were posting consistently to social media because social media serves these 3 purposes. Number 1 is social proof legitimacy. When a potential customer does decide to look you up on social media, an active social media profile with local engagement signals that you're an established, trustworthy business. A dormant page with 3 posts from 2019 sends a different message. Number 2 is community connection and local SEO signals. Post about local events, employee spotlights, unique customer vehicles, or involvement with local causes, because that creates genuine community connection. They also create localized content that search engines can associate with your business. Number 3 is shareability and word of mouth. In Flathead County, word of mouth happens increasingly in local Facebook groups and community pages like the Flathead 411. Content that's interesting, helpful, or community focused gets shared, extending your reach. What doesn't work is the canned content approach, and I saw this on a lot of different websites. Several shops were obviously using a service that posts generic auto repair tips and advice that gets posted to hundreds of auto shops nationwide. It's obvious, it's inauthentic, and it doesn't create a local connection. You definitely don't need to post daily, and you don't need to have professionally produced content either. What works is authenticity, featuring an employee one week, showing a photo of an interesting customer vehicle, sharing your involvement with a local cause. 3 genuine posts a month is all you need. Finding number 6 were some technical foundations that most are missing. So I'm going to get a little bit more technical here, but bear with me. This is the type of stuff that we do here at Hill Media Group. Think about where you do most of your searching. It's probably on your smartphone, right? The mobile experience matters more than you think. Yes, most websites these days are mobile responsive, so they change a little bit from the desktop view so that it's easier to read on a mobile device. But is your website easy to understand and easy to use when somebody is on a mobile device? 70% of the websites that I checked out were frustrating to use. When I tested these sites on my phone, I noticed things like phone numbers that weren't tappable, tiny text that required zooming, buttons that were too small or too close to something else to tap accurately, and forms such as a contact form or an appointment scheduling form that were difficult to fill out on mobile. And a lot of important information that was well below the fold. I had to scroll for quite a while to get to it. Most people wouldn't have bothered. As I mentioned before, Google tracks when somebody clicks to visit your website and then hits the back button to go back to Google and find someone else. That's called pogo sticking, and it's a strong signal that your site didn't meet their needs. Site speed also surprised me. I expected the top performers to have blazing fast websites, but some of them actually didn't. So that tells me that Google is weighing the relevance of the content over pure raw speed of how fast the website loads. Don't get me wrong, load speed still matters. We have short attention spans, and if a website takes very long to load, we're going to hit the back button and go find something else. But there were also a handful of other technical issues that I saw, such as outdated versions of WordPress that were severely outdated, which means there could be vulnerabilities in that website that could lead to somebody getting hacked. Some of the websites weren't fully secure, so as you clicked around the website, you might get a notice of an insecure website, which these days, with the way that browsers respond to that, scares us into going back to Google and looking for something else. There were a lot of missized images that were getting cut off, requiring me to scroll side to side, which is definitely weird when viewing website content on a mobile device. Most images weren't optimized with alt text, so they were missing out on an SEO opportunity there. And if I got really nerdy and looked in the browser console, a lot of times I saw many errors, and on almost all of the websites, I saw missing or incorrect schema markup. Schema markup helps the search engines and the AI tools better understand the data that it's crawling. Finding number 7, service pages are missing or inadequate. If someone searches for transmission repair in Kalispell, Google wants to send them to an interior page of that website with information on that service that they're looking for. Yet most of the sites that I reviewed had either a single services page with a bullet point list, service pages that just had 2 or 3 sentences only on them, or no service page at all, just their services listed on the homepage of their website. Top performers had dedicated pages for most of their core services, such as transmission repair, brake service, oil changes, alignments, and many others. These pages don't have to be novels with a ton of information. All you need to do is clearly state what you offer, explain what's involved and why it matters, build some confidence in your ability to do the work with maybe some social proof like a review or two, and include a clear call to action. Here's what almost nobody was doing but should be: displaying service-specific reviews on service pages. If they're on your transmission repair page, you should have some social proof, such as a review from someone who's had their transmission repaired at your shop. There's also a booking barrier. 2 of the 15 sites that I reviewed had clear, easy way to schedule appointments online. Most expected customers to call during business hours, or fill out a simple contact form and await a response. In 2025, this is definitely leaving money on the table. People want easy, clear confirmation that the next step is on its way. In the auto repair industry, there are tons of tools that make this really easy, or you could go with something simple like a Calendly scheduler that integrates with Google Calendar, or if you're using WordPress, a plugin like Fluent Booking. Finding number 8 and what AI search means for your business. One thing I wanted to mention, even though it wasn't part of my original research, is that the search landscape is changing dramatically because of AI. Google is increasingly showing AI content, and people are chatting with AI to get answers to their questions. Maybe there's a noise or something that's going wrong with their vehicle, and they're searching in AI to try and figure out what the problem is before having to take the time to get their vehicle down to an auto repair shop. AI tools are crawling websites and pulling in all of this information so that it can answer customer questions before they ever have to reach out. In the past, we only worried about Google's crawler finding and understanding our websites. Now it's countless AI systems doing the same thing. So what does that mean for auto repair shops? It means that your technical foundation matters more than it ever has. Sites with errors, slow load times, outdated technology, confusing site structure will cause these AI tools that have limited resources to look at your information and figure out what to do with it. So you want to make this process as easy as possible for these tools to extract that information and have it available when customers start to ask questions. Clear, specific information is going to win. AI systems are looking for direct answers to questions. FAQs have never been more important. Do you do transmission repair in Big Fork? Should be answered clearly and quickly on your site, not buried in paragraph 7 on your About page. Here's the reality. The competitive gap in Flathead County auto repair marketing is widening. The top performers are pulling away. They're getting more reviews, more visibility, more calls, and more customers, which leads to more resources to invest in marketing, which creates a compounding advantage. Meanwhile, businesses on page 2 are wondering why they don't even get any calls anymore. The good news is that most of the issues that I found on these sites are easily fixable. The gap exists not because the top performers have massive budgets that none of us could keep up with. It exists because they're doing the fundamentals consistently. So I put together a 90-day action plan. For those of you that want to do this yourself, you can check out the link in the description to the article. There's the whole action plan there. I'm not asking for your email address or anything. It's there publicly for you to check out. The only decision you have to make from there is to go the DIY route or to contact us and get help setting this up. At Hill Media Group, this is what we specialize in. We help businesses get seen on the web, and we've been doing it for decades. As the search engines have changed and things have ebbed and flowed and search engine optimization has changed, we continue to adapt as the search engines require it. If you'd rather focus on building your business while someone else handles this optimization work, we'd love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for checking it out. I hope it was useful, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Take care.